Because the biggest thing when it comes to culture is the people you're hiring. It's not what you're doing to them after they are. Do you get?
Yeah.
It's who they were before you hire them. We got Steven moved to Lagos. We got a house where we're staying there with the engineers and everybody. It was the office and house and everything all joined together. You right? So when the time that we had agreed on, when it got to that time, I had to resign.
Yeah. But at that time, like you said, the business has already taken a degree to an extent, some shape, right?
No, it hadn't.
Okay.
It hadn't taken that type of shape. It was at a stage where we could afford to pay our engineers, right, based on savings and from our friends that we had gotten, at least for 6 months. And in our minds, we're like, okay, if we can pay our engineers for 6 months and we can hustle out whatever it is we're doing here, then we might as well. There's no need for me to be working because we've saved out enough for that. Yeah.
Okay. But at that time, I mean, you had clarity. You are convinced that this is going somewhere, right? The concept is already proven. People are already, some customers were already, or retailers were already on board. So
yes. It was clear that we're getting customers. Yes.
Yeah, you are not doing. You're not doing easy Russian relay or something. You're not playing cards like. I think at that
it
time
wasn't a PowerPoint presentation
anymore. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Great to hear that. Now, if you will look back, right, and I know you've mentioned a couple of things around pivots and all of that. What would you consider the critical inflection point in your entrepreneurial journey, right? You know, that you look back and you're like, if that hadn't happened, only God knows where we'll be today. You get what I mean?
Yeah, there are plenty. No one. There are plenty.
Go ahead.
And there are plenty behind, plenty coming in front. It's like a constant thing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the constant things. There are different things. If I never met Steven before, you know, that sort of thing. If I never saw the ad, if I never worked in Procter and Gamble, I never would have gotten that exposure, right, to FMCG problems. If I'd never gotten into Y Combinator, it would be way more difficult to raise funds, right? So if I look back, there are like a lot of different elements in the journey that I can point to say if that had not happened. There are just so many things. I can even go back to me getting employed to Procter and Gamble, which is that my elder brother came to the room and said, "Hey, go and apply for this job. You with all this your big dreams and the rest and businesses that you're always talking about, you will learn when you get that job how to do business better." That sort of thing. So I think it's like there are a whole lot of different things, and a lot of them are connected to people. If I had not met certain people, or certain people were not in my life, will not be doing the business here right now. Yeah.
Sefa, thanks a lot for sharing that. It is way more instructive to me than it sounds, right? And I know that you kind of keeping it simple, but it speaks a lot to the value you placed on people and your relationship with them and how you met them and all of that. But not just meeting them, it also speaks a lot about how the kind of value that guides your interaction with people. Do you understand? And this is what I mean. Imagine if just using a typical example, or just imagine if Steven gave you some money to keep at some point, right, for any reason, or gave you something to keep, and he needed it, and you started telling him story, right? And they want to let to the other. You probably would not stake something higher than that, right, on you as an individual. So what this tells me is over time, right, it's not just about you met them quite all right, and those things were quite instrumental, but these were people that are still in your life, right? And I think it speaks a lot to your value as an individual, to the value system that guides your interaction, right? Even as an entrepreneur, as an employer of labor, right? And I want to double click into that a little bit, right? Now, because by the time you start bringing 2, 3, 4, 5 people together, it's been said that culture will hit strategy for lunch, right? Culture will hit strategy for lunch. And culture is largely informed by our value system, right? Amongst us. Now, when you started building this team and all of that, how did you go out shaping the culture, right? The value system that guides your interaction as a company or as a startup?
So yeah, I mean, it's amazing, right? Especially the context that people talk about culture and the rest, right? When they say culture, a lot of people think about free apple and coffee and all those things, right? Just and all that. So so there are certain things that are important, right? To me as an individual, Stephen as well, and it comes up in the way that we do things at supplier. We One of the things we talked about was we are not even going to articulate any of our values until running the business to a particular time, so that we are being practical. So we ran the business for some time and now said, okay, now we ran this business for a couple of months now. We know what makes sense to us and what does not. Let us articulate those things. So we clearly called out those things that made sense for us and what doesn't make sense for us. And then, we keep refining it. It's like work in progress all the time. We come back and refine. Why is it important? Because it provides clarity for us to down to, if these are the things that are important to us, how do we ensure that our recruitment process ensures that those set of things that are valuable to us are the people that we would hire? Because the biggest thing when it comes to culture is the people you're hiring. It's not what you're doing to them after they hire. Do you get?
Yeah.
It's who they were before you hire them, right? Because the who they were is like the best thing, right? And so we set up our entire recruitment process based on the things that are important to us. Every single thing, right? Every single thing, like every single question in an interview is connected directly to what is important to us.
You have articulated.
Exactly, right?
And what
and
are
all
those
that.
values?
So,
Share. No, if you don't want to share, it's totally fine. But if you can share, we go for our people to know.
No, there are. So we're breaking it down. There are values and then sub values and behaviors.
Okay.
Our values were bold, we're innovative, we're fun, and we're a team of experts. Those are like the values, right? And then we break it down in simple language. Because bold can be interpreted in different ways, right? Yeah. So for us, bold means that you're fine with thinking about a very, very high target. You're very, very okay with thinking about that and thinking about something that is big enough to scare somebody. That's your bold, right? You're willing to get into that situation, roll up your sleeves, and work proactively. That means you're bold. So we are able to break it down to everybody so that it's very clear what being bold means, and what is being fun. We break that down. What is being innovative, right? We're able to break that down. Team of experts, what does it mean? Right? We're able to break all those things really down for for our people. So we talk about things like being intellectually humble, right? What exactly does it mean, right? We say, yeah. So what we say for that is, no matter what you know, you're gonna die, and no matter how long you live, rather, no matter what you know, and no matter how long you live, you're gonna die not knowing way more than the things you know.
Well, come on. What you know is what you know, right? So yeah,
The things you do not know will
you
always
don't
be
know.
more than the things you know. That's
Mm,
life. Live for
mm.
1,000 years. The things you do not know will be more than the
You
things you
won't know
know.
everything.
So you know
Absolutely.
what? It's okay. You're a brilliant guy, but you don't know everything.
Yeah.
So just, you know, be be pay attention. Be open
Yeah.
minded, right? That sort of thing. Be open minded, and it's okay, right? It may be different, but if you're open minded, you may learn something. That sort of thing, right? And that
Mm.
goes back to being a team of experts, right? Because how are you going to be a team of experts if you're not like a learning machine?
Yeah,
You get what I
listen.
mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. That sort of thing. Now, I mean, before we say going into our suppliers' values and our principles and all those our behaviors, we we were talking about culture. Yes,
Mm.
which is still part of it. So number one, having clarity in terms of who we are and what's important to us, without deceiving ourselves. That sort of thing. And if there are parts of us that we do not like, we're not going to capture that as what we want. We take it out. We don't want that. And if there is something we want to be that we're not yet, we also add, that sort of thing, because we are meant to think about growing, not to stay in the same place. And over time, those things keep changing as we get more information, as we know more. That's one. So that's clear. Number two is, for my style is to be as open-minded as I can be. Let me take that back. My style is to be as open as I can be in terms of sharing what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, as much as possible, down to who I am. Right. So I through in the onboarding process, I would even explain myself to people who were hiring that, look, this is me. These are some of my weaknesses. This is the way I respond to these things. This is how you can help me, right? And this is what is important to me as an individual, right?
Yeah.
This is when I do a certain thing, this is what it means, right? And also I give like commitments, right, to the people to say, look, this is what I stand for. I'm telling you this now. You may not believe based on your past experience. In the next 6 months, would have had situations where I would have been tested in front of you, and so you would see that that's what it is. So, also being very consistent with what I say that we are and what we actually are has made clarity. Now, that being said, the first thing I said about the culture thing is the culture is not eating apple and drinking fruit tea. Is that people are clear on who they are.
Yeah.
There's a DNA for the organization,
Yeah.
right? And for our organization, it's very, very clear. It's clear in ways that off the record I can share some things with you, but it's super clear, right? People know what to expect, know what it is, know what's not acceptable. It's just there, all right? Very, very clear.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Sefa. I know that we don't have a lot of time, so I just want to quickly ask the question around, what's the size of your if it's okay to share, the size of your organization today? And I know you probably have some full-time and maybe you have some freelancers on the field and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'll talk only about full time. I'll not talk about the
The
guys
guys
that
on the
are
okay.
via contract. Yeah, we're about 16 of us today.
Okay. Okay. And then
Yes.
the guys on the field who have it, okay, who
We
does
have we have the third party folks as
guys
well.
who are doing stuff with you. All right. All right.
Yes,
Uh,
we have those. Yeah.
okay. So looking back, I mean, I've enjoyed this conversation, way more than I thought I would enjoy it. I've enjoyed it a lot. Thanks a lot for sharing all that you've shared. Now, one last question for you as you go, Surfer. That question is: if you look back at everything and you want to do it again, right? Or you have opportunity to just watch a younger version of you about to start out on this same journey that you have been on, what would your advice, what would your advice be or your guidance be to that younger version? What should they do differently? What should they do faster? What should they, that kind of stuff?
Two key things: think bigger and move faster.
Think bigger, move faster. Wow, that's scary. That's scary. What I hear from that is the obstacles are not as bad as we kind of perceive them to be or we think them to be. Will that be correct?
No, they are. It's just that there are, and again, I don't think it's a fair thing to this type of thing to someone who has not had their own fair share of scars
Yeah.
on the battlefield, right? So
Yeah.
it's about thinking bigger would be that there are if you're going to battle, you're going to battle.
Yeah.
You might as well think about armor tanks and the rest, right? Versus AK-47s, because
Absolutely. Yeah.
you're going to battle. There's a chance that you might die.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well go for that, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing, and all that, and then move faster, clear those villages down, right? And all that, conquer those territories as fast as possible, and but while you're doing that, again, battle. If you die in the process, it's fine. It's okay. So I would move faster, and I'll think bigger. Yeah, which is exactly what right now I do. Uh, oh, in terms of how I think about things. Yeah,
Yes.
yes. I hope
Well,
it's not too generic and a motivational speaker like to say that. You know.
no, I,
Uh,
I really don't think so, to be honest. Because we can't really be too prescriptive about it. Everybody's journey is unique in a sense. So there are some specific you can give, and somebody will like, that's not relevant to me. But broadly enough, right? If you think bigger, we move faster, right? What you're essentially, that's why I said that what I see you saying is, yes, there are obstacles, yes, there are challenges, but they are surmountable. So don't be limited by, small thinking and, because you have fears that some things, do you get what I mean? So that's the way I look at it. I don't really think, they sound motivational, and there's nothing wrong in them sounding motivational actually, but I think they make a lot of sense in my opinion.
yeah. So what I add to that is not like there are one aspect of it is, no matter how the challenges are, there will be solutions to them. Another aspect
You-
is that even if there are challenges that there are no solutions to, and you fail,
You've
you
learned.
get up and you try again.
Yeah, you've learned. You've learned.
Think big
Yeah.
and move fast, right?
Mhm.
Do you get what I mean? Just
Yeah.
think as big as you can, move fast, fail,
Still
think big
forward.
again, move fast,
Mm,
fail,
mm.
think big, move fast, fail. And because you're learning, right?
Yeah,
And all that stuff. You have absolutely no reason not to move super fast. Yeah.
got it.
Because
I
typically
mean,
people are not moving fast because of fear, right? So
yeah, that's what holds us back most of the time, right? It's fair, right? And if that fear is not there, what people will essentially do is they'll go bigger, they'll go faster. If that fear is not there, so if we can deal
yeah.
with that, then we should be good.
I
Sepa,
want to say something. I want to say
go ahead.
something before we round up. Think, move fast, and think big, but don't be stupid, right? And when I say that, I
Yeah, that's
mean
the balance to
if
it.
you
Yeah.
have a family, to feed, You don't be stupid and say, look, you're gonna move faster and think big and feel
Big
fast
no,
if you
waste
fail,
time.
because someone has to pay the bill, right?
Yeah,
So I'm talking in the context of you have that handled already,
yeah.
right? Some way, maybe from your spouse, maybe your parents, but don't be irresponsible. Entrepreneurship is not an excuse to be responsible. Yeah,
Responsible. Okay, so think big, move fast, be responsible.
absolutely, absolutely,
Oh, it's been an
absolutely.
absolute delight talking to you, Sefa, about your entrepreneurial journey. I hope you caught some fun to talking about the things you've done and the things you've built. Really glad to hear, happy to hear all of the things that you've shared. I hope that, I believe actually that our audience will find this talk very, not just inspiring, but also very motivating, right? So thanks a lot for coming on the show. Really appreciate your time. I know that you've gone out on a limb to be able to make this interview work. So thanks a lot. Really appreciate that, and definitely do have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Okay, in advance.
Super happy to have done this. You're welcome, and have a very happy festive season as well.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a
Bye.
lot. Hey, thanks a lot for taking the time to watch the podcast to the very end. We are super thankful for you taking that time and investing the time to learn. We hope that you find the story inspiring, and beyond that, that you've been able to articulate one or two things that you want to do differently in your own entrepreneurial journey. May I encourage you to please like, subscribe, comment, and please share the word within your own circle of influence, especially within those that you think are on the same entrepreneurial journey with you. May I also encourage you to please, beyond subscribing to our YouTube channel, follow us on our other social media platforms. That means a lot to us, and we can see that that helps us to track that we're making some progress and so making some impact. Thanks a lot once again for taking the time to watch, and we'll see you on the next episode.